You guys are seriously going to have to help me out on this one because I can't figure it out. Cue the theme music. The thumbnail was a little clickbaity. I'll admit it. But I'm really serious. Why is nobody talking about this? I want to talk to you about the IGS Photon 500 compressor. This compressor is literally amazing. And if you go look for it, or just look up a review for a 500 series single U compressor that is similar to an LA2A, and you're not going to find it. There's a couple options that come up. I think Tegler makes one, and I think it was the Serpent Audio, which isn't an LA2A. But to find a true LA2A style compressor that takes up one 500 series rack space, it doesn't exist. And the one that I got, the Photon 500, no reviews. Can't find a review on YouTube. I looked it up. The only thing I could find was an EDM drum track that went through it, and that wasn't helpful at all. So I went out on a limb. I called my Vintage King rep, and no, I'm not sponsored by Vintage King. I mean, look at the views on my page, and I have like 87 subscribers at this point. I've got no endorsements. But I told my Vintage King rep, I said, hey, here's what I want. I found this. Do you know anything about it? Knew nothing about it. I talked to my Sweetwater rep. They don't carry IGS. So he wasn't even willing to have a conversation with me about it. That's a whole nother story, by the way. So I went out on a ledge because I wanted an LA2A compressor specifically, and I bought the IGS Photon 500. And instead of just talking about it, I'm going to put out a real review right now of what this thing sounds like on vocals. All right, let's talk about the Photon 500. The ghost compressor is what I want to call it. This thing's amazing. I love the design. It's simple. It's easy to read. It's all black, bright white lettering. You can see what you're doing when you're working on it. It's built like a tank. I mean, listen to these step knobs. Like, insane. You have metal toggles. Also awesome. Let's talk about a couple of the features on this. So first of all, you have a really nice meter here that shows you your gain reduction. So a lot of times on this thing, I'll crank that thing all the way up on the peak reduction and really just let it saturate the vocal. But you can dial it up and it'll tell you exactly, it's super accurate. Tell you exactly what's going on with your gain reduction, depending on what you're wanting to do. One thing that I love about this that you're not going to find on an LA2A plugin, never used an actual LA2A compressor before, but I'm assuming it doesn't have this since the plugin doesn't have it, but it actually has selectable ratios. So you can go 2-to-1, you can go 4-to-1 if you're doing a vocal, or if you want to use it as a limiter, you just slip it down onto 12-to-1 and you're good to go. I love that. Down below that, you have a spot where you can side chain your high pass filter, and you can go 60 hertz or at 120. That's awesome. So say you're doing a vocal and you want to roll off the bottom end of it, just throw it at 120 hertz or throw it at 60 hertz, whatever you're more comfortable with. And that's awesome. Another cool feature is this London or New York mode. And all that does is internally in the Photon 500, they have like in the circuit inside, there's a 2520 op amp, and then there is an output transformer, and it's a Carnhill, which is super popular. The WA76 above this, those use Carnhill transformers as well. They're kind of like an industry standard, especially on high quality gear. But that basically changes how it hits the op amp and the output transformer. And so it's basically just going to change the saturation. It's going to change the way that the tone sounds, and whatever you prefer, whatever feels right for the song, you have that option. You definitely don't get that with a plugin, and you definitely don't get that out of literally anything else relatively similar in price. It's almost impossible to find a single U 500 series LA2A. I think Tegler has one that's supposed to be kind of similar. I think that Serpent makes one, but those are like $1,500 or $1,600. And then even IGS makes a LA500, which is it's supposed to be like an LA3A, and it's 2 slots. But I didn't have 2 slots. That was my dilemma. I only wanted 1 slot because that's all I had left, and I didn't want to buy another 500 rack or buy a bigger 500 rack and have to try to resell this one. So it was really important to me to get what I wanted. And at $1,000 for this, it is completely worth it. So we're going to hop over and listen to an audio sample of a song I recently recorded so you can hear what it sounds like on a vocal.
I was singing country gold. I didn't know you were fixing to walk in from the bitter cold and steal the show. What did you expect me to do? Just leave that bar and get over you? Nah, I got your number, I hit you up. I said this is crazy, but I think it's love. I was singing country gold. I didn't know you were fixing to walk in from the bitter cold and steal the show. What did you expect me to do? Just leave that bar and get over you? Nah.
All right, so that's my review of the IGS Photon 500, the ghost compressor, the one you can't find anywhere. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's reviewing it. And I think it's crazy. I think it's really, really crazy. But thank you for spending your time with me. It is the greatest currency that anybody has, is your valuable time. And you took the time to watch this video, and I really appreciate that. If you would, humbly, I'm just asking, go down, like, and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my community of musicians and songwriters and producers, and I love exchanging thoughts and ideas. I watch all the videos. I subscribe to all the guys out there doing this, and so hopefully we can all feed each other. We can all help each other out. We can all exchange ideas openly, and we can all get better at this music thing. But thanks again for your time. Have a good night. We'll talk soon.